All right, today we're going to be looking at section 3.4. The section is slope and forms of linear equations. I'm in the learn section in Hawks. This is the objectives that we plan to tackle throughout the section. There's 12 pages. Some of them have notes and some of them have, some video examples, but I'll just try to highlight an overview before we start the problems. So if you want to find the slope of a line, we're going to use what we call slope formula. And as you can see by this image, there's rise over run. The rise goes on top. That's the difference between y values, and the run goes on the bottom. So in order to find the slope, you must have 2 points. Okay, you need to have at least 2 points, and then if you have 2 points, you can use this slope formula. And it's a ratio of the rise over the run. So how much do you go up or down, and then how much do you go left or right? So they want you to note that you can change the order. Okay, so it doesn't have to be y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. You could also put the first coordinates in front. Okay, but what you do need to notice is that the points, the second point, that is, the y value and the x value, are vertically aligned. You see how it has y2 is right above x2, and over here y1 is directly above x1, and then the same thing when they flip the order. So you can put the first point in the front, or you can put the first point in the back, but you cannot mix them up. Like, you cannot put the first y value over the second x value. That's going to cause issues, and they do the same thing. So and then here's some video example of finding ordered pairs. Here is also, you can use it with technology and do it, but usually with adding and subtracting small numbers, you can do those by hand. So we have some special lines. We have horizontal and vertical lines. So a horizontal line is a line that's going to cross the y-axis. Okay, it's going to be in the form y equals a number. So y equals like 5 or y equals -2. That line has a slope of 0 because you would go up 0 and you go left or right any number of points. So you have 0 on top divided by some number is going to be 0. Now vertical lines, they cross the x-axis, and they're in the equation form x equals some number. So x equals, it could be 4 or any number. And then they have a slope of undefined because you can go up an infinite number of points to get to another point, or 1, you can just go up 1. And then you go left or right 0 because that line is going straight up and down. So anytime you divide by 0, we can't do that in math. Division by 0 is undefined, as they're saying here. So when you do the slope formula and you're picking points, you're going to get undefined, and that's why we call it undefined slope. So here's just kind of explanation of the vertical line and doing that with the slope formula. And then we have some examples provided by Hawks and some graphic technology display. And now we're going to look at slope-intercept form of a line. So to kind of go through where it comes from, you start with slope form, and then they manipulate it, and then end up with slope-intercept form of a line. But most people have this memorized. I do encourage you to commit it to memory. But slope-intercept form of a line is y equals mx plus b. It's the most common and the most used form when we talk about linear equations, and we're going to be graphing, making tables or something of that nature. All right, here's some examples here in Hawks about graphing. If you're going to do slope, so here's a point here and here's a point here. What we would do, and this slope is going up from left to right, so it's a positive slope. But we can go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right 1, 2, 3, and you keep that same pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. But here they're showing you can go left to right, or you can go from right to left. You can do that same pattern. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, and right 3, or you can do down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and left 3. So when you go the opposite direction, you do the opposite sign. So up and right is positive and positive. So if you're going to go the other direction, you got to go down and left, which is going to be negative and negative. So you can do that in any case where you're graphing a linear line. You can go left to right or or right to left. You just got to go the opposite direction. All right, here's some more examples in Hawks, just showing you the same thing with a different line. This one has a negative slope. This one is called point slope form. So again, they start out with slope intercept form, showing you how to derive that from slope intercept form to get to point slope. So we'll use this one when we have a point and the slope given to us and we want to write the equation. There's some more examples of that, which we'll do some in Hawks ourselves, and then a few more examples, and that might be the end. Okay, so standard form we used in the previous section when we wanted to find the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So this is called standard form, ax plus by equals c. We used to always write it with capital A's, B's, and C's, letting you know that A, B, and C are going to be integers, but it looks like they've kind of simplified the definition a little bit just to kind of give you the basics. Then we have slope-intercept form, most commonly used, best especially when you want to graph a line. And then you have point-slope form, which we usually get that and convert to slope-intercept form once we find the y-intercept. All right, so from here we're going to go over to Hawks and actually do some practice.